As a kid, my inspiration was a school driver. He was built like a Tarzan, had the classic Veerappan mustache, some of you remember here, two hair dumplings on either side of the cheeks. And his words, oh my God, they were legendary in our community. Every day, he would end up picking a fight or two with an auto rickshaw driver or a cab driver, and he would create a lot of Galata on the roads. He would blurt out, Hogale, Podade, road in him, Appanda. And we kids would notice this, and I was fascinated by all these bad words. Now I'm a good student outside the class. And so I absorbed all of this like a sponge. And I started using these with all my cousins. It so happened that one day, I was blurting all these bad words out in a fight with my sister. And suddenly I realized my grandfather overheard it. So Dadu, my grandpa, comes around and says, you can use words in the wrong way, but you can also use them in the right way. Be careful with what words you use. Always make sure they are soft and sweet, because you never know which ones you may have to eat. I didn't realize it until my high school when I proposed a girl and she gave all those bad words back to me and made a lot of Galata. That's what we understand by Galata. It's always bad, disruptive, ruckus making, chaotic. But I'm here to tell each and every one of you that Galata can be meaningful. It can be worthwhile. It can be purposeful. And it can also have a meaningful impact in all our lives. After having a series of interviews on the podcast that I host, there have been 3 principles that have come up again and again to a point that I am compelled to share them with all of you through the stories that have been featured on the podcast. 1, start small as you can. Now, all of us here have looked up to the West for examples of Apple, HP, and all companies that have been listed that have started from garages. Or, if you want to look at Indian examples that have started from their apartment houses or from their PGs or dorm rooms, because you can't really afford a garage in Bangalore or Bombay. But I want to talk about individuals like you and I who have made small dents on this universe. A story of Amit, who's a law student in Bangalore, and he realized that right outside his house, there's a small field. And the gates of those fields had a lot of garbage and filth around it. And the local kids could not get in. So one fine morning, he decides, he gets a few friends and starts getting it cleaned. Now, he doesn't have a lot of money, just his pocket money. He doesn't have experience, and he does not have permissions. The local municipality rejected their plea. And as they're cleaning it up, a municipality van goes by, and the driver gets down and inquires what is happening. To their surprise, the driver and a few of his other friends come and support them to dispose the garbage. And that's when it clicks. And every Sunday after that, they meet and they fix a spot. They are not part of the pollution, but they are part of the solution. And today, they are fixing one spot at a time and uplifting Bangalore. It's been 5 years since that incident, and over 200 spots have been fixed. Small things can happen. Here's another incident. Preeti, an energetic, enthusiastic, bubbling with a lot of creative ideas, an architect student from Bangalore, who had a lot of free time in her hand. So she would go around and tinker with the stage works, the backdrops, and also design the TEDx stage of her college. It so happened that after the event, an individual walked up to her and asked her if she could help him with his restaurant. Little did she know that 6 months later, she would end up designing a 140-seater bistro bar with a budget of 60 lakh rupees in her 3rd year of architecture. This is what she designed. This is a kilometer from where we are right now. You can start as small as possible. And each of you here has the resources, just you have to look around. Principle number 2, stay focused. I must thank Deep for coming up with this idea of 1,000 days. I don't know what's magical about 1,000 days, but it so happens that in the medical field, the first 1,000 days for a kid is extremely critical. It's so important that if you can get the first 1,000 days right, a lot of things are set for the rest of the life. The same applies for your ideas, your projects, your initiatives. If you can see through them for 1,000 days, there's a very good chance it can take off. Now, for a lot of us youngsters, it means no Netflix time. It means working on the weekends. It means working from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. on holidays, on vacations, whenever you can make the time happen. It's about staying focused for 1,000 days, no matter what. You may fail. It may not work. You will be rejected. It's okay. Stay focused for 1,000 days. Rohan Ganapati, an aeronautical engineer from Coimbatore, had an unusual deal with his college. He would only come for the NSEM exams, write the exams, and he would not attend the college. In that time, he would be basically tinkering with things and building something. Such a deal, right? In his second semester, he's fiddling with this rocket and wants to make the fuel for it. But the college is just not allowing him because it's too risky to use the laboratory. So he fakes his HOD signature, gets lab-grade chemicals, convinces his friend, who's a day scholar, to use an induction stove because you can control the temperatures on it, and goes to his house and starts melting this rocket fuel and mixing it. Fills up a few beakers, and there's a bit of it left, almost the size of a pint, but it catches fire, and his hand gets stuck in it, his torso gets burnt, all the beakers catch fire, the house catches fire. Luckily, he survives. And it's been 4 years now. He's built a rocket that essentially runs on water out of Bangalore city. You guys can stay focused for 1,000 days on any idea, initiative, or project, and it can be a world of a difference for your project. Third principle is about building steadily. Bad Galata doesn't require principles and morals, but good Galata requires principles and morals. You need to have a set of principles from day zero, not later when you become successful and you hire a PR firm to turn things around. From day zero, that you stick by no matter what. That could probably mean saying no to black money, being honest when it's hard, putting people before profits. It could be taking sustainable initiatives, even though the industry doesn't ask for it. It could be as simple as not doing anything that if your parents discovered, they would be upset. Find these principles that you can stick to and commit to right now, because it makes a huge difference as you grow. A biology professor from Pune, just a normal professor, who realized that a lot of foreigners who come to India faced a huge gap, a chasm, a confusion wherein they were sold a whole different idea of India back in their countries, but when they arrived in India for their higher studies, they faced a completely different India, which was grappling with superstitions, cultural biases, so much so that he would get somebody in his office every other week complaining about the Indian scenario. A Colombo student walked up to him and started weeping because he could not get out of his shower because Indians would not face him. They felt it was not auspicious. He realized this is a problem worth solving. And so he started creating these events where he would call foreign students and Indian students and create ties between them. A few events later, he created an institution around it to make those bonds stronger and for a longer period of time. 49 years of starting small, staying focused and building steadily. Today the institution has over 20,000+ students from 85 countries. And what made me appreciate it the most during the interview was there's no donations being accepted. There's no capitation. Every single student is there on merit. You guys can build something meaningful on principles, on ethical basis. So here's me leaving all of you with a challenge. I know each of you here has an idea. And I want you to decide now not when it's convenient, not after the video gets over, but now. To commit to it for the next 1,000 days, no matter what. It's okay if it fails. It's okay if it does not work. Stay committed for the next 1,000 days. And because TED is all about sharing ideas, find a friend of yours that you trust, that trusts you back, who can keep you accountable to it, and share it with them. I can't wait to see what each of you here make happen. Start small, stay focused, build steady. Now go and make some Galata. Thank you. Namaste.